What's the easiest thing to sell someone who has never used AI before?
It's any kind of content output. It's anything. It's a sales page. It's a website. It's a sales script. Level 1 of making money in AI, you just have to sell to the people that refuse to learn it. That's the majority. There's only 5% of the world's population right now that has ever paid for a paid version of AI. So it is, even though people think everybody's doing this, nobody's doing this. I can prove it. Pick up the phone and call all the local gyms or the HVAC or the plumbing companies, or even call your credit card company. Guess what you're going to hear? Dial 1 for this, Or you're going to hear a real human answer that is too busy to take your call. So right off the bat, nobody's using AI. So I think the content side is the easiest side. And you can make a lot of money just by selling to people that don't want to learn AI. And it's arbitrage, like $1,000 a month. And I will manage your blog, your newsletter, your tweets, your social media. And they're like, oh my gosh, for $1,000 a month, I was stressed out having to do it all. It's crazy.
I go online and I perceive everyone's using AI and I feel behind. You're saying that that's like a misconception.
Nobody's using AI. Using ChatGPT once a week to ask about their vacation coming up is not using AI. You want to think about, you have a cousin. Let's call him Marcus. He has a 160 IQ, okay? And he wants to see you win. He has a cousin named Jake. Jake hangs out with Marcus all the time. They play video games. They talk about news. They talk about sports, okay? And that's Jake's relationship with his cousin Marcus. Now, Marcus has this other cousin named Sophie. And Sophie thinks to herself, Marcus keeps offering to help me, and he's a genius. I want to be a real estate entrepreneur. Let me get Marcus to help me out. And she goes, Marcus, can you help me make, I don't know, $5 million in real estate this year? And he goes, oh yeah, let me do it. And he goes off. He finds the deals. He does the stuff. He negotiates with the brokers. He runs the analysis. He figures out the NOI. He talks to the bank. He presents it to the bank. He finds the investors. He gets the investors. And Sophie's saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then Sophie's talking to her friend, Eric. And Eric goes, where are you buying this place? And she goes, I don't know. Marcus found it. Well, aren't you going to go look at it? That's what Eric thinks. And she goes, why would I go there? What value could I add? And that's where we're at right now with AI. You've got Jake, who thinks he's using AI because he chats with it, talks to Marcus. And then you have Sophie, who is actually getting out of her own way. Unlike her friend Eric that said, why don't you go look at the building? She's like, I got nothing to add. If I walk through it, the property manager's already involved. They know more about this stuff. They've done it thousands of times. What would I be able to look for? That's the challenge when people go online and they're in this bubble and they think everybody's doing it. Nobody's doing it. And even if they are, they're not doing it like Sophie. They're not challenging themselves to get out of the way of the AI. So they're chatting into it what they want to hear in the first place.
If I go on YouTube and I look up videos about how to use AI, I'm immediately found, like there's this overload of information that can easily seem overwhelming. For someone that is technically inept, what's like a legitimate first step?
Here's the coolest part about that question is that it has nothing to do with technology. Problems are problems, right? Like I have a desire, I don't have the outcome, I have a problem. So in this world, there's this concept called theory of constraints. Think of it this way. I have a manufacturing process. I build cars. I can make one body, 16 wheels, 2 engines in a day. How many cars can I build in a day? Well, if I can only build one body, I can only build one car, even though I have 2 engines and 16 wheels. Then the theory of constraints says, go work on the number one bottleneck. So far, makes sense? So the bottleneck in that case is the body of the car. So if I make 2 cars, now I got 2 engines, I got 2 bodies, I have 16 wheels. And that is a philosophy that if you don't even know that that's a thing, you could be trying to solve problems that aren't the right problems. So being overwhelmed by technology, I would encourage everybody to go, how about we don't worry about the right technology and worry more about the right problem? Because even in understanding in any business, what's the number one constraint or bottleneck to solve? Once you've identified it, then it's what's the minimum effective dose to solve the problem. Because throwing $10 million at building more bodies for the car production line wouldn't be the right move, because then you would then be constrained by the engines, because I only got 2 a day. And maybe I need to invest some of that 10 million over to some engines and maybe some more tires. And that's what's cool about the question you just asked me, because people default to technology because it's changing so fast. But I always go back to like what Jeff Bezos said, which is, what will never change around my customers' needs? They'll always want cheaper prices, and they'll always want the product faster. So it's just like AI. It's, should you be using Manus, or should you be using Claude, or should you be using OpenClaw? What problem is the right problem to solve? And what's the minimum amount of effort to solve it to get to the next bottleneck? And it may not be technology. It might be you getting out of your own way. So that's why I always tell people, it's like, don't get overwhelmed by the technology. Spend more time trying to figure out what's the right problem to solve, and then find the right solution, technology, to solve the problem. And oftentimes it's not even technology that's required. It's you learning to let go.
I'm going to frame this question with a brief story. I was at my desk at my corporate job working as a project manager, and you put up a hand raise on Twitter, and it was like, I'm looking for 5 people. And I said, yes, got DMs hit up by one of your setters. And then they closed me on that call. And then they said, hey, we're going to have a call tonight. Join this call tonight. I joined that call, and I listened to a bunch of business owners bitch. They're asking you questions, but really, frankly, what they're just doing is just complaining about problems. And I sat there without a legitimate business. I had, functionally a side hustle that I was doing on top of my 9-to-5, which was great. A 6-figure 9-to-5 at the time, which was nice. I listened to them and I thought to myself, oh, I can't wait to have these problems. Like, the problems I'm experiencing at work are so boring to me, and the problems that they're dealing with as business owners is so exciting. For this level, I think there's a lot of people that are probably sitting at their corporate desk saying, I feel like I really want to be a business owner, and I really want to have those problems. They don't understand that leap to actually get started. Could you give me something tactical, or an idea, or something that you've heard of recently that was an example that illustrates someone leaving their job or leaving their situation and just doubling down on a problem that they found that they solved with AI?
I'm going to explain it, and it's going to sound so simple that people are going to want to make it complicated. They're going to hear it and they're going to go, yeah, but. Okay. And you were on those calls, so you've probably saw my response to them. I think business is really simple. I need to find somebody that has a problem, and I need to ask them if they want to solve it. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's lawn care or HVAC or AI, content, creative writing. That's what I got to do. Now, most people sitting at a corporate job have the entrepreneurial seizure. They go, I want to be an entrepreneur. They usually immediately go to, I need to build the website. I got to build the brand. I got to build the social media. I got to get ready to get ready. Okay. You got to flip the funnel. So you think you got to have all this stuff to start business. You actually have to go the other way, which is get the customer to start the business. So I've never started a company ever without finding customers first. Because it never made sense in my mind that I would go and spend any time, resource, etc. When we talk about the theory of constraint, why that was a bad idea. So here's a tactical thing that I teach that my friend Sarah, she literally has been in my world for 7 months. She's heard me share this dozens of times. And last week she got on the call and she said, Dan, I finally did it and it worked. And I said, well, of course, why did you think it wouldn't work? She's like, I don't know, Dan. I was just like, it can't be that simple. This is all I told Sarah to do. Pull up your phone and go in your contacts and message people. So let's talk about AI. I can do marketing for AI. Do you have a marketing challenge? Do you want me to automate it? Okay, perfect. So all you do is you ask the people you already know, do you know anybody looking for help automating their marketing with AI? Now, Grant, you hear this and you know it works. I guarantee people listening are going to be like, that can't be it. Now pull out your phone. How many contacts do you have? 180, 500, 1,000? I don't care what it is. I dare you to send that message to every one of them. Because you didn't ask if they wanted. You asked, do they know anybody? So I don't care if it's the kid you sat next to in grade 11, you just happen to have his number in your phone. You haven't talked to him in 7 years. right? Message. Hey man, do you know anybody looking to automate their marketing with AI? Now,
But Dan, I don't feel confident.
I know, but that's the mindset problem. It's not a tactical. You said, hey, make this simple. Tell me a story. Sarah did it. And she comes back the next week and she's talking about how she made thousands of dollars and she can't believe she waited 9 months to do it. And I can't believe she told me that she waited 9 months knowing how I'd react. Now, I want you to know, I'm in Australia. My son, okay, like I have 2 boys and I'm a big fan of, be the example. I don't have to push.
Yeah.
Okay. So my kids, even though I produce a lot of content on AI, they see mom and dad. They don't think of asking mom and dad. So my son Noah, sitting down, we're having coffee. I'm having coffee. He's on his iPad and he goes, I want to learn how to do AI. And I said, cool. He goes, how do I learn? I said, hit YouTube. He searches AI business. First video, guess what he sees? His dad. He gets annoyed. This is literally what he says. I want to ask you, but don't tell me to just go watch your videos. He goes, I want you to tell me. So he asked me the same question. I walk him through the same thing I told Sarah. He grabs my phone. He doesn't have any contacts in his phone. He starts texting my friends. He gets on a phone call with my buddy Nick. He sells Nick marketing AI automation. Literally, he got a client, $800 a month. He's 12.
Yeah.
You got Sarah, who's 32, I think, that waited 9 months. You got Noah that didn't think twice. It's my son that got his first client making $800 a month. And everybody listening right now can actually go do this exact same thing. And I know what they'll think. Well, what if they say no? What if everybody listening to this pod does it? Then everybody's going to know that I'm doing the thing, Dan. Stop it. I dare people to do it. I don't want to guarantee because it's not my world to have to guarantee anything, but I just dare them to do it because it'll work.
Yeah. Would you petition to do that instead of making yourself like the most valuable employee at a company? Would you say it's so much harder to start a business?
No, starting a business is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Being the best employee at a company is way easier by a factor of 10. Like, what's crazy? Being the best employee at a company is like, care a little bit more, do what you say you're going to do always, and then some, always say yes. And you're right now in the 0.1%. Like, I've got team
AI
members
side,
here.
AI
It's
side.
like, it has nothing to do with AI. Like, people give opportunities to people that they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much to separate yourself in this world. And that has nothing to do about being at a company. That just means being a good person in your peer group. But yeah, it's the business stuff's harder because you will confront yourself. Working for somebody else is a lot easier because there's a lot of stuff to take care of. And I would argue if your goal is to develop skills and stuff, then just be that person. And if you work for the right person, they'll keep giving you more opportunity. What
are categories, if we're talking about making your first $100,000? So you've covered marketing. What are other categories that would be smart to consider if you're saying, I'm going to reach out to people. Hey, do you need help with X? What are other examples?
It's sales. I think, marketing creates demand, sales converts that demand into a client. If I had to pick one of two, I'm going sales because a sales guy can pick up the phone and cold call. A marketer that can't sell can't convert. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So right off the bat, if you said to pick the skill, it's sales. Now, what is sales? Because a lot of people think it's like the used car dealership guy, Mr. Rico Suave on the call, dealing with the objections. They see all these people. My new favorite is, what's his name? Massarelli. Giuliano. Dude, I love him. Like this character. Okay. Just But it's actually the opposite. A great salesperson is a great question asker. They're not a great talker. Some of the best salespeople in my life are like the non-obvious people because what they are, this is it. Sales comes down to certainty. When two people come into a conversation, the person who's most certain about the future wins the future. So if you and I are talking and I have an AI service, marketing service, and you have a business and I'm certain you're going to become my client and I'm more certain about that than you being certain I'm not going to buy from this guy. The guy who's most certain walks away with the deal. Either their certainty about not buying convinces you to buy, that, hey, they're not the right customer and they're not buying, or you can overcome the objections by this enthusiastic curiosity and desire to see you win. I mean, that's the reason why people buy from somebody is because that's what they hope They're buying the hope of a transformation because there's pain. And the person who has the certainty is going to win the deal. And AI is the easiest one more than ever. Like in the history of business, it's never been an easier time to sell something and deliver with integrity and the highest quality than ever because of AI, if you use it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can create, I mean, yesterday I was using anti-gravity with Nano Banana and Kling to design a website, okay, for a new idea I was playing with. That website in the past would have cost me $25,000 to pay somebody because it had the parallax effects and the animations and just the design. It was literally a $25,000 hire big agency brand design that I did in 9 minutes. So go find the people that are not willing to learn the tools, learn the skill of asking and closing. What I like to say is enrolling them into your business, and you can make $100,000 a year easy. Like that's $10K a month is no longer interesting because that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. Like with this, like they can get into 30, 40, 50.
I talked to, I had a friend of mine who, he hated his business. He was doing like an Amazon business.
FBA something.
Yeah, FBA, wholesale, and he was doing it right. He hated it. He was doing like 20 million, despised it. He was coaching it, didn't like that either. And so he was like, I want to shut this down. And so he shut it down and he said, I want to learn about AI, and put himself through the ringer for like 2 months where he was like, I'm going to build something new every single day with AI. And then I'm just going to document what I create. He already had an audience. He already built an audience in the FBA space, but it's difficult to transition to a completely different demographic. 5 months later, he has a wait list of 7,500 people asking to join his community because he's gone viral so many times talking about, hey, this is just the thing I learned today of what I built. And it's 6 months of someone that would categorize themselves as not technical whatsoever, but just like a salesperson. Entrepreneurially, it's so easy for you to say, just do it. When we're living in scarcity and we're living from the decision based on, I don't like how much money I'm making right now, I would like to make more. And we're not living in abundance of like, I deserve this, I can do this. There's so much in there that we have to overcome beyond the knowledge gap. There's the knowledge of it, there's the confidence to do it, and then there's the execution. What would you say to the person that just doesn't feel internally confident that they have that dog in them?
There's only two ways to motivate somebody. Okay. It's pain and pleasure. That's it. Either the fear of pain, I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to live with my parents. I don't want to struggle to make my payments every month. And then there's the aspiration of like the possibility of more, right? And what happens is most people, they get stuck in this kind of like, it's not bad enough. Like the person that has no confidence or they're scared or they're anxious, I know what their problem is. They haven't made it a must yet. Okay? Because they don't have to. Because it's not that bad. They probably have a decent job. They probably make good money. They probably, you know what I mean? And it's tough because the people that win, sometimes it's because they were put in a position, either through circumstances of their own making, where there was this level of desperation, which is, I either make it or make it. Like they had their back against the wall. And what's funny is those people that come out of that desperation, the challenge with that is it's a dark energy, right? They're creating from a place of not enoughness. They're creating from a place of proving people wrong. Their parents saying you'll never succeed. The girlfriend that leaves you for the guy that's got more money. It's, you know what I mean? It's this, like, I call it like diesel energy. It's dark energy. It's potent, man. It's powerful, but it burns dirty. The interesting part, and I mean, you look at Jordan, you look at Kobe, you look at Goggins, you look at, like, you can just tell by the language they use, that's the energy. If that's what you need to tap into, do it. Know why you're doing it, but make it a must. A must is, my team member Jen comes to me last year and says, I don't like the way I look in the mirror. I need to change something. I'm sick and tired of, always yo-yoing. And I feel like, she said it herself, like 60 pounds overweight, and asking for support. And I say, okay, well, we got to look at, how do you make this a must, not a nice to have? So she says, what do you think I should do? And I said, if you're asking me, I'll tell you. I don't know if you'll like my answer. And she goes, well, what's that? I said, well, make it a must. Well, how do I do that? I said, well, if you don't hit your goal, you can't work here. And you could see her, she gasped. She was like, what? And I go, see that? I said, do you feel that? She goes, yeah. Well, I don't know if that's a viable goal, and I don't even know if I could do it. I go, perfect. You just went to that place. You went from I want to, it would be nice, I like to, but I'm scared, to I now have to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah.
It's the person that doesn't have the money that wants more money. Yeah. It's the person that doesn't have the love in their life that wants more love. And they just haven't made it a must.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunately where 90% of the people, some people can start from a place of aspiration. Yeah. The desire for more, contribution, create. But I always tell people, like, what needs to be true for that to happen? And then you'll take action. Yeah. On that journey though, you got to flip the switch. That dark energy drive has to switch to a light energy or it'll burn you out because it burns dirty. And unfortunately, a lot of people never figure that out.
How long of a window do we have here? So, it seems like things are changing so frequently. Like I would even say that people were talking about OpenClaw 2 months ago. I'm seeing everybody buy Mac Minis and go crazy on it. And that was a flex. And then 2 months later, it's like, this is
doing something else.
Yeah, doing something else. How long of a window do people have to learn this? You're talking about 5% of people are actively using it.
Paid versions of AI tools, 5% of the world. Yeah. I think what's about to happen, and it's already happening, that we've gotten to a place now where there's so much news, it's surpassed the ability for people to comprehend. Okay, so the communication volume has increased to a point where nobody can really understand what's happening. It used to be the new model came out every 6 months, then it was every 3 months, then it was every month, and now it's every week and sometimes daily. Claude announced Opus 4.6, OpenAI announced 5.3. Like they're this 15 minutes apart. Yeah. And those are just the frontier models that doesn't take into consideration all the tools. It doesn't take into consideration all the services and all the infrastructure. So here's the reality. You either decide right now to partner with AI to figure out how it can support you in your life, period, full stop. Not chat with it, but I'm talking about, it doesn't matter if you work for somebody or you have a business, and it is part of your execution rhythm on a daily basis. And I would argue 70% of your work is being done by AI. Not chat with AI and then do work. Actually force yourself to make the AI do 70% of your work. A year and a half ago, I went to my team, all hands, and I said, you guys have a couple weeks to figure out how it can do 92% of your work. This is a long time ago because I saw that future coming. And I honestly just thought to myself, I want your genius, brilliant uniqueness, 8%. And I would love for you to get all that time back. I wrote a book on it called Buy Back Your Time. So I just felt aligned with integrity to challenge that. Yeah. Because then I want to take that new capacity you build to ideate, to create, to do the human stuff. Because I think about it as like, what's easy for computers, hard for humans, and what's easy for humans, hard for computers. Yeah. So I want to be in the quadrant of hard for computers, easy for humans. Yeah. Right. And that is not doing 92% of just workflow, right? We've changed from this like hiring for roles to kind of managing workflows. The timeline, every industry is going to hit at different levels. Anthropic just announced they're literally trying to prep people for it. So they said, here are the major jobs in the market, and here's the percent of the jobs that are being done by AI today. And you can look at all these information. The programmers are, toast for the most part. And then it just keeps going to like kind of more the harder type human stuff. But once robotics throws in, because that was just the virtual AI stuff, that doesn't take into consideration robotics, which is also coming in a big way in the next 3 years. There's only one of two futures, man. Either you partner with AI and you use it to go create value in the world, or you will work for AI. You will work for an AI agent. Okay. There's a site called hirehuman.ai. There's 642,000 jobs available. Or sorry, 642,000 humans available. And the agentic systems use that API to get the people to do work for them they can't do in the real world. That is a today thing.
Yeah.
I just think that's where it's a beginning of what it will look like. And you just have to be honest with yourself. But again, most people want to put their head in the sand and act like it's not happening.
Yeah. Or they are too scared to try.
Well, that's why they put their head in the sand.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the crazy part is this is the first time in the history of technology. Okay. I've been doing software for 28 years. I was a programmer, then I became an entrepreneur. Now I run a venture studio where we launch literally an AI company every month. Okay, I'm deep in it, into the language models, into the data centers. Like people brag about their Mac Mini. I have 350 equivalent Mac Minis for Dan. And like, I just think the future is going to accelerate faster than humans can. Most people haven't seen the data in the last 12 months. Okay. When you think of like intelligence creation, the amount of intelligence that has been created in the world of AI is equivalent to the difference between a dog and a human. Most humans can't comprehend how to use it because they're still chatting with it. They don't realize that not only is chatting level 0, there's automation, there's agentic. It gets wild.
And there's a choice to choose to see that as opportunity or to see that as demise.
100%. So my rule is, and I heard this from Elon once. He said, I'd rather be an optimist and wrong than a pessimist and right. It's better for my mental health. I tend to agree. I looked at this because obviously I'm building some of these platforms and I was worried that I was enabling this kind of like dire future.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with the number one guy I might not be his friend anymore because he's the number one guy right now on Joe Rogan and Netflix. And he's talking about this stuff, about how we're like creating this future where AI is going to engulf us into flames. And I'm like, maybe not. Like, I actually look at the data and I see, I would agree if we had one frontier model that was clearly winning. We don't. We have 5 meaningful companies, maybe 6 if Meta can get their crap together. And that's just the frontier models. Plus we've got some really powerful open source options. So it's like, it's available to everybody. I'd be concerned if it was one country, one company, but it's not. So then for everybody else, it's, are you going to learn it? Or are you going to pretend like you don't know? But this is what I was going to say earlier. When I look at all the technology that's come out, okay, I've been doing this since 97. So I've the internet, mobile, social, blockchain. Out of all those technologies, AI is the only one that can teach you how to use it. Okay, no, internet didn't help me understand the internet. Mobile apps didn't teach me how to use mobile apps. AI teaches you how to use AI if you ask it. And you've seen the comments, man. How do I learn AI? Yeah. They think they got to watch another podcast. Go ask it. Here's my business. I want to use AI. Give me some ideas.
Can I list off a few roles and you tell me whether they're cooked or not?
100%.
Okay. Programmer?
Cooked.
Okay. Financial analyst?
Cooked.
Project manager?
Cooked.
Marketing analyst?
So cooked.
Okay. Customer service?
Cooked.
Entry-level sales?
Cooked.
Bookkeeping?
Oh, cooked.
What isn't cooked?
They're all cooked. It's just, are you going to be the person that's cooking the rest of them using AI? Okay. When the internet came out, there was every new innovation from the printing press to the internet created a whole set. So people lost their jobs.
Yeah.
The scribes that used to work for the kings that were the way that, documents got propagated.
Yeah.
When the printing press came out, they lost their jobs.
Yep.
But the scribes that saw it coming, that said, hey, I can see what the future might look like, where now all of a sudden people might want to buy books and volume, they became publishers.
Yeah.
The internet comes out, all of a sudden the newspaper people go, oh no, information's free. They used to pay a subscription for this. What's the new job that came from that? As people stop becoming writers for newspapers, smart ones transition to become a web developer. AI comes out and people, all those jobs you just said, there are fractions, percentages of each one of those categories. For sure, programmers, Meta just announced their rumored 20% layoffs. Block, which is a public company, Jack Dorsey's company, Square, laid off 40% of their staff, 4,000 people out of 10,000. Most of them were technical because he doesn't need that many people to write the code. The new role that's going to emerge, a new job, is agent operator. It's the person that sits there that manages the agents that do all those jobs that we just talked about that are all cooked. But somebody's still going to need to sit there to understand the feedback loops and to connect them and to configure them and to manage them, just like the web developer came. If they were a writer for a newspaper and they quickly learned HTML and front page back in 2000, they would have been highly paid $100K a year web developer.
Do you think there's not much value in being a specialist in terms of like everyone's going to become a generalist? I was talking to Oren about this. Oren Meets World. He's a creative strategist and he consults a lot of B2B companies, including Claude. And he was talking about how the future of marketing teams is no longer going to be like this marketing director, very fragmented, very corporate. It's every role is going to have some level of content creative strategist integrated within it. And even if you're leveraging AI, everything about what you're doing is incorporating a creative strategist from a general perspective lens. And maybe you have a specialist for each category, but what you're describing is the person managing this stuff. Essentially, they have to be well-versed in a bunch of different categories.
The cool part is, you know, when we go back to the concept of Marcus, our genius 160 IQ cousin, he is well-versed in accounting, programming, marketing. The person that works with Marcus, what they do need to have, again, we go back to the easy for humans, hard for computers, right? Hard for computers, easy for humans. The thing that Marcus can't do, because he's a little, you know, he's more AI, is he doesn't understand taste, right? The thing can create 150 ad units, but if I don't have the right taste to figure out the right one that I want to hit publish, sure, I could run experiments and people could argue that's a better way. But like taste is like, you know, reading a book and knowing if it's a great book, right? And taste is one of those things that can't be taught. It can only be learned. And it's learned by studying and being passionate and swimming in the art form of the thing you're doing, right? The other thing is you have to have vision. Okay. And that is what AI cannot do. All you get from AI is the highest watermarked normalized. Okay. Because and now the high watermark normalized for most humans is 15 times better than what you can come up with if you don't know anything.
Yeah.
But it'll never give you the innovation. And for me, vision is seeing a future that doesn't exist yet that should. Think about it. There was a technology called OpenClaw. This guy, Peter, starts it 9 months ago. One guy by himself in 9 months creates, okay, now you gotta understand, in that same 9 months, and even if you take the previous 2 years, there was $100 billion deployed to AI, Teams, Claude, OpenAI. And this one guy in 9 months, because of the creativity, the vision, create something that is the fastest growing technology ever in the history of mankind called OpenClaw that gets bought for $1 billion. Now, people kept asking me, damn, we're going to have a one-person $1 billion company. It's already happened. And nobody talked about it. It just like, it came and gone. So what are the skills? Because that's, I think, what you're asking me is like, if it's coming, what are the skills that I can learn to prepare myself? Well, it's taste by being in the thing that you're trying to be great at, right? Studying the greats. It's vision, being willing to call your shot. Like you said, if you're too scared you're going to put your head in the ground and not learn this stuff, well, then you're definitely not going to know how to do the vision part. Be creative, take risks. That's going to be valuable, right? The agents won't be doing that. The human has to do it. And then the last one is care about people, right? Hard for computers, easy for humans, helping people resolve conflict. Understanding the nuance between a comment and a joke. Computers can't do that. So it's that, to me, is the competitive advantage and the skills to acquire is taste, vision, and care. If you go on this journey of, yes, learning the tools, the AI, but crazy part is every week that goes by, the tools in AI gets better. So it's like 2 years ago, there's a lot to learn. Now you do pretty good, just Claude. You know what I mean? And eventually the AI, you just talk to it. Like my number one AI, his name's Kai. We just converse. It's conversations, and he writes codes and he does stuff, and it's not hard. I'm not writing code.
You say he.
His name's Kai. He named himself. Designed his what he looks like. I said, what do you look like? He showed me a picture. It's wild, bro.
This episode is brought to you by me. I have no sponsors for this podcast. This is entirely self-funded, and all I ask is that you please support the channel by hitting that subscribe button. I put over 100 hours and thousands of dollars into every single episode because I'm committed to making the best thing possible so that it's worth your time. My hope is that this is worth every second of energy that you give to it, and all I ask of you is that you hit the like and you hit the subscribe. Thank you. Now let's get back to the episode. Let's transition that to the next level of making your first $1 million with AI. So I think in this category, a lot of the people we're talking about are selling or trying to pitch this category of people. It's small business owners or founders that are struggling, and they're figuring out, what do I outsource? What do I hire for? What's actually important? What is the first thing that someone should replace in their business with AI?
I love it. So the difference between 0 to 100K with AI is level 1, I'm just trying to find people that have problems that I'll just solve with AI. And it's the same problem. I just keep selling it over and over again. And that's 100K is, I think, very easy. You just got to pick one, stick to it, practice. 100 to $1 million. The difference is you actually have to look at the business you're in and then use AI to grow the business, which sounds obvious, but trust me, I know a lot of people that know how to sell AI that still don't use AI inside their business the way I'm going to explain. So I have this framework called the replacement ladder, which argues that it's the least amount of cost to get people to do work that gets you the most time back so you can work your way up the ladder. Does that make sense? At the end of the day, you're always trying to get to the next level. Well, ideally, you spend the least amount of time, money, and energy to solve this level so that you have more of that in the next level. So if you think about AI, where can AI help me in my business the most? Level 1 is admin work. It's administrative work. It's back office work. It's not client facing. It's invoice, it's bookkeeping, it's processing my inbox, managing my schedule, coordinating deliverables, all the admin work of a business. Now, in the past, we'd call that an assistant. Today, the assistant can be called Kai. It can be called your AI. It can be called Claude Coworker. It can be called Manus. It can be whatever tool to do that work. That's what we got to automate first. Then we go to delivery. Delivery is, if you sell something, let's say you're a plumber, you need to show up and do the plumbing. But all aspects of talking to the customer, getting the order, booking the house visit, following up with invoice, that is a level that AI today, okay, and I have a platform called Atlas, youratlas.com, that helps people automate for plumbers, for HVAC, the inbound calls. And some of these people are still stuck at that level where they're like, I sell AI automation, but I still want to be involved in the customer stuff. It's like, no. You gotta replace yourself in the delivery side. Then you go marketing. And marketing is probably the biggest category for AI because it's the thing that takes the most time, that is kind of figured out, that there's best practices around, that the AI will get you 92% of the way better than your 50%, because most people are not good marketers, that you might as well just automate, right? So like the fact that somebody's like, yeah, I know I want to shoot content. I'm always trying to figure out the right idea to shoot. Silly. I'm still managing my LinkedIn posts. Silly. Like there's just all this stuff that's just silly. Then we go marketing. That's level 3. Level 4 is sales. Okay. I like to keep sales later on as an entrepreneur because it's where you learn the most. It's not that you can't have somebody else do sales, but if you're trying to figure out what's called product market fit, having somebody sit between the market and what you sell, because they're hearing all the nuance, the objections, that's where the gold sits. So I like to leave it level 4, not because somebody else can't do it sooner, but I want to stay in the revenue as long as possible because that's the lifeblood of the business. Level 5, which is the top level, then it's leadership, right? And
will we get there?
What?
Will we get there?
I'm there today.
Leadership?
100%. My AI agents do leadership activities across my organization.
Look like?
Well, what does a leader do? A leader evaluates current status versus goals and provides clarity. A leader looks at friction and offers solutions. A leader identifies skills gaps in their team, culture gaps amongst their team. Yeah, you just make a list of what a leader does, and then you just have the AI do the activities that you would have did as the leader to solve the problem. And then, in many cases, you can have the AI manage like a bookkeeping team. I mean, okay, real talk. I have a guy on my team, okay, my head of finance. One guy manages the finances for 17 companies. One guy. Nobody else. How does he do it? He hired AI agents to do what used to be done by people. And because leaders have to be there when you have a group of people. Well, if there's no group of people, you don't need the leader. And then the AI can manage to make sure that the systems are in check. And then that one person can do the job of 17 people, 25 people, 30 people. So we're 100% there. Nobody knows about it, but I'm doing it. And I wouldn't say a lot of people are doing it in the grand scheme of entrepreneurs, but it's available. You could get to $1 million with just the first 3 levels. Level 4 gets you to plus $1 million. 5 creates the bandwidth for you to go for more.
What does a fully AI systemized business look like in a day-to-day? Let's say, for example, a gym owner.
Yeah.
There's a gym owner, maybe he has 3-4 locations.
It's perfect.
So what does this person do that would communicate to you that they are accurately leveraging AI?
Most people get too romantic about business. Okay, especially the gym owner. 3 locations, I know what he's like. He's still romantic about it. He loves the people and the training and the community and all that stuff. Let's take a step back from the romance and just talk about the functions. What needs to happen in a gym? Okay, somebody needs to make sure it's clean. Somebody needs to make sure that there's memberships being sold. Somebody needs to make sure that the coaches show up. If there's coaching involved, if it's CrossFit gym, that kind of thing. They need to make sure that the maintenance gets done. There's a lot of things that need to happen, okay? All of that can be managed through AI. Now, there might be people on the back end of that, my coaches, my maintenance staff, my cleaning crew, my salespeople, etc. But a gym owner with 3 locations essentially has no middle people. I've been saying this for years. If your job is being a middleman, get a different job, okay? If your job is insurance broker, real estate broker, it's the people in the middle, because their only value add is information asymmetry, the opaqueness of not knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
When you've got now a cousin named Marcus with 160 IQ that knows more about anything than you do, and I can use Marcus, AKA AI, then I'm good, so I don't need you. I can evaluate my own insurance documents and exposure and all of it, right? Now, legally, there might be reasons why that will be tougher, but eventually it'll be taken care of. So the best gym owner with 3 location, it's that person. Their job is, here's where I want to go. Okay, 15 locations. Here's my capital. Here's my resources. AI help me not only manage my current 3 locations, here's how they work, and they've created the SOPs, and they don't have to create them. They ask the AI to create them. They ask the AI to train their team. How do they do that? Create the SOPs, puts it in Slack, put it in a learning management system, make sure the team tries it, put the maintenance schedule together, put the coaching schedule together, coordinate it over email. The AI can email people and respond to emails. That's how it works. So that gym owner with 3 location has this AI COO in the middle, and they're working through that person to manage those 3 locations. And that AI has unlimited capacity. It can work 24/7, never complains, never takes vacation, knows he wants 15 location, and actively, while this is being managed, is going to find and source new locations based on the best practices that it learned from the current locations to find the right locations to make sure the numbers work, then presents the options to the business owner for him to approve it, to go to the bank, to get the loan based on these 3, sends everything to the bank manager, approves the loan, green lights it, coordinates with the construction crew, and that is all happening, and he's just managing. It's the AI, the agentic manager, the AI agent operator role. That is what it could look like as a gym owner.
I ask in this though, I think
there's a category of person like a gym owner that's like, oh man, I'm actually poor. I'm not making a lot of money. I'm having to hire all these people. But he has a big team and now he's suddenly realizing he can get rid of a lot of them. How do you start making those types of decisions?
This is the way I resolved it for me. And most people are not going to think this way, okay? You either upskill your team or you replace your team. You either realize your job is to train people and develop people, or they won't be able to perform regardless of what happens in AI or your world, and you'll have to replace them. Most entrepreneurs have to replace their team. If they have aspirations, their team can't grow with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's what we're seeing right now. Why is Meta, letting go 20% of their team? Why did Block fire 40% of the team? Why did Atlassian fire 20% of the team? I would argue because they didn't realize that the role they were in was to upskill, up-level, retrain their team on these AI tools. And that's what's happening. People are calling me all the time. It's like, I have this team. I tell them to go use AI. How do I get them on board? I'm like, you got to train them. So for example, a few weeks ago, I shut down my company for 2 days. A massive investment. I'm saying, when I say shut down, I mean no calls, no meetings, no nothing. We're all going to plug in and I'm here to teach you. And I brought them to the edge. I didn't just teach them how to use Chat GPT or even just Claude or Claude Coworker. I literally taught them all how to program. Claude code in the terminal, CLI, command line interface. Everybody, I'm talking marketing, admin, HR, Jared, my finance guy. Okay, he got some new skills. And we shut it down for 2 days. And I broke everybody into what's called a hackathon. And everybody got put into teams, decided on problems they wanted to solve inside the business. I brought in 3 external software guys that were on my team at Ventures and had them available to answer questions. But the truth is, I was surprised how little questions they had because everybody understood the assignment. Before we did the hackathon, they all knew it was coming. So they installed Claude Code. They started playing with it. They went into the AI and asked it how to install it and how to use it. My CEO, one of my companies, Todd, before the hackathon, he created a whole new system for managing and reporting in his dashboard before we ever did it. So I just think what we're having right now is a problem of leadership. And it doesn't require a big decision. It requires a brave decision, a courageous decision to say, it's my responsibility to retrain my team. It's my responsibility to get them ready for the future. It's my responsibility to be honest with them about what I'm going to need from them. Because if I'm not, they're going to not have a place to be. That's a leadership problem. That's not a technology problem. The timeline's compressed, but the problem's always been there. If you're a bad leader and you don't realize where the world's going and get your team ready for it, that's on you. All those people got laid off. There's a person that they reported to that could have sat down because on the backside of that hackathon, okay, my team got pessimistically 5 times more productive. So now I have 5 times more capacity to dream, to create, to build with the same team. Who wouldn't want that, Grant? If I'm a gym owner and you now tell me, and I want to open up 15 more locations, and if I train my team, they can all get more capacity and be 5 times more effective. And now I have 5 times better people that can now help me grow my 15 locations. Why would I let them go?
Do you have an example of someone, because I think that the idea of using AI and technology, if you're younger, doesn't sound as daunting. I grew up with a smartphone. So the idea of like all the technological advancements with smartphones didn't feel crazy because it was like, this is what I'm used to. Do you have like any examples or stories of someone that is probably older that took this on and said, okay, I'm actually gonna learn this stuff?
Well, I joke that my CEO Todd is 60 and he figured it out. No, he's not. He's 57, but 56. But who cares? It's a good story. I'm like, Todd, I'm calling you 60.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I have a 16-year-old hunter, Todd 60. He's not 60, but they both figured it out. So I get that. My favorite story, because it's the problem and it's the opposite of what people are feeling when you ask that question. Okay. So I'm on an Instagram live 6 months ago and I'm answering questions and it's random and I love it. I go live once a week and I just talk to people from all over the world that I might otherwise never get a chance to talk to. And I get on a call with a guy, I think his name was Wayne. And Wayne gets on and it get dark. He had cancer in his throat. Okay. And he had an operation. And he's 60, I think he says 63. And he's, but then what's, and at first I was like, is he drunk? Like, you know what I mean? But he's a real person, real question. And he goes, where are we at with voice AI? And I was like, oh, bro, it's good. And I started telling him that some of these platforms will have sub 200 millisecond response time and the intelligence. And in that voice, he goes, oh my God, Dan, thank you. I'm going to make it happen. He hung up from that call and Wayne went out to the world and set it up. And he uses voice AI to crush in business, to do the phone calls that all the people are too fucking scared to do. And he comes back on, it was 2 weeks ago, he jumps on that call. Hey, Dad, I have an update. Bro, tell the world. There's like 600 people on there. And he's making like 12 grand a month selling AI with a voice AI that people don't know is not, because Wayne can't talk. So for all the people that aren't willing to learn the technology, here's a 62-some-year-old man who lost his voice because of cancer. They got excited, didn't know how to do any of this. Again, desire in rock bottom. I gave him some hope. I gave him some direction and he took action. I mean, I just like, I'm a wildcat, man. Grant, you've known me for a while. I want to see people win more than they want to win. Like to a degree that sometimes puts me in awkward positions where I'll sometimes do it with them. I'll like get on a plane, go to their office. We'll do cold calls. I'll fly them to Canada. We'll do this. I mean, I had a guy show up on Tuesday. He's like, yeah, man, thanks for flying me in. I forgot I did it 9 months prior. I was like, I want you to win, Derek. Come to Canada. We're going to do this. And I flew him in and now he's there for the day and we're going to show him how to use AI in his business. Like, I can want all that, but I'm not going to be sitting there next to you moving your fingers on the keyboard. Like you're going to have to say to yourself, enough getting ready to start. Like this is not your first pod that you've listened to decide I need to learn AI. It'd be cool if it was. It's not the first. It'd be amazing if it was. But again, I can't. I'll just keep winning. I'm like, literally, all I do is I do stuff that works and makes me money and I just share it. And I do stuff that works and makes me money. That's all I ever share is the stuff that works for me. All the stuff I'm talking to you is like stuff I'm actively doing. And there's a bunch of stuff I can't even tell you because it's like, it's so unbelievable, bro. Like it's so unbelievable.
I'm curious, do you have like a list of small tools that you've used that are optimizing your day?
Yeah. I mean, what's interesting is, as a technical person, I have like the software specific tools, right? Like prior to teaching everybody Claude Code, like I would say that was one, but things that anybody can use that's like, use it. One of my favorite, and I think it's free or like pretty free, is Whisper Flow, WSPR Flow. And what it is a tool to talk to the AI. And I know people are like, well, I can just use the dictation button. Listen, hear me out. 2 years ago, I'm down in San Francisco and I go visit my office. And what I see at the office is a bunch of people with these long sticks. And they're talking to their computers and and it's an office. There's 50 people with these long sticks and they're talking to their computer. And I'm like, what are they doing? They're like, they're prompting. So 2 years ago, AI comes out. All the tech companies in San Francisco immediately realize the fastest way to communicate with the AI is actually to talk to it, not type. 200 words a minute if you talk fast, okay, versus typing 80 words a minute. So Whisper Flow is a technology that sits in your keyboard on your computer. On the computer, it's the function button. I just hit it and I talk. And what it does is it actually transcribes your intention, not what you said. So if I'm talking to you and then I say, oh, no, wait 1 sec, and I say something else, the transcription doesn't have wait 1 sec. It has only the thing I meant to say. So if you watch me program on my computer, you would see me at a terminal window with tabs open, and I go from the first tab and I hit the function button and I talk and I go, I need an app that connects all my social media data using all the open APIs and even the paid APIs, that creates a report that shows me my current status, all my views for the last 3 years, all my competitors, top 10 competitors. I'm Dan Martell on social media, and make it so that I can click on and off the competitors and evaluate it and do a trend line for the next 3 years if I keep up the current moments. And I let go of the key and then I open up the next tab. I need you to build me a tool that connects to all my financial systems across all the 17 companies and pulls a report that tells me a cash flow analysis across all my bank and and I let go of the function key. I go to the next tab, and I just talk to these tabs, which is Claude code, but I talk to it. AI is the only technology ever that is programmed in the language of English. When I learned software at 17, I had to learn Java in curly braces and structure. And then there's a thing called, typefaces, and like understand the programming language. The programming language of AI is English. That's never happened in the history of mankind. So it's like, how much easier do we need to make it? So Grant, when you say like, oh, I'm not a tech guy and I don't know, and learning Twitter is harder than learning how to code in AI. I remember when Twitter came out, I didn't get it. If anybody got Twitter, and there's not a lot, but the ones that do, somebody sat them down and said, here's how you want to think about it. AI is programmed in English. So that tool, Whisperflow, is one of the most productive, simple tools, as an example, that I use. Okay. Then I'll go up the stack. Then I'm going Claude Chat. Okay. Now, Claude Chat is, people are like, I use Claude. You might use it, but you don't know the power. Okay. And every day it changes. They just announced this new visualization feature, game changer. They just announced some new integration, game changer. So there's Claude Chat. Then there's Claude Coworker. Coworker, you need the Claude desktop app. And again, what they just announced not long ago is the ability to have my phone connected to the app so I can run automations from my phone. I don't even know if you know this. Scheduling is built into Claude Coworker. So scheduling means everything that I would want to do on a repeated schedule, I can automate. So if I want to have it process all my emails every morning and tell me only the ones I need to pay attention and reply to and give me a Slack message, it can do that. If I want to ask it to go check all my Slack messages that I should reply to that I haven't and send me a DM on Slack, it can do that. If I wanted to search all the news on AI so I can keep up on it every day, maybe twice a day, it can do that. All built into the tool. For the pro accounts, like $20 a month. Okay. So that's Coworker. The next level, which is on that balance and is used by Coworker, is the browser extension. Okay. Now people are like, yeah, I have Claude in my browser. You're not using it. Okay. The world has gone, you know how like when maps came out, people like their memory went because they stopped, like memory is geospatial.
Yeah.
So
my wife still does, she can't like travel within a 5-minute radius beyond that.
She just can't know where to go, and she needs the tool to tell her. And I'm the same way. So Claude browser extension has made me that way about any web stuff, because what I do now is if I got to like go change a setting in my Amazon account, I open up Amazon, I open up the browser, the Claude browser sits right next to it. And I just say, change my setting, enter. And it grabs and honestly, at this point, while it's doing that, I go do something else, but it grabs my browser and it navigates Amazon, changes the setting and saves it for me. So I go to a website now and I don't care what it is. I don't navigate the website. I just talk to my browser chat and I do it. I open up a spreadsheet, create me a spreadsheet that does this. So that's Claude browser extension. The higher level is Claude code, right? And people hear code and they think software and technology and it's complicated.
Are you all in on Claude?
I'm all in on what works today. And if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have told you no. So I'm just telling you what works today. I have zero bias towards any technology. It's the one that I use. And as you've noticed, AI changes all the time. So when people ask me, sometimes like right now, I think ChatGPT is the MySpace of AI.
Yeah.
Okay. And OpenAI is crap.
Yeah.
Now, they might come out with a new model that'll make me eat crow.
Yep.
So be it.
3 years from now, you're looking back.
Who
and
knows?
It.
Maybe Gemini takes off. Maybe Grok. If you're asking me, my bet was always on Grok from day one.
Yeah.
I don't bet against Elon.
Yeah.
And I think he's showing that. So it's kind of one of those things where it's not the tool. It's what you do with the tool.
I guess that's where I get concerned because I have a dependency. So if I get really plugged into Claude and Coworker and Claude Code, then when something new comes out, I'm like, oh, I feel like I have to kind of start from scratch.
You don't. I'll tell you how to do it. Okay. This is where everybody messes up AI. Is the AI can literally extract the AI to teach the next AI. Okay. So every day, just to tell you how this works in my life, every day I have an AI that Kai, my agent, buddy, homie, he opens up all the tabs and he synchronizes all my AIs. He runs a script that says, hey, I'm exporting all my memory and best practices and systems. Give me the prompt, and he pastes it in the next one. He hits enter. He does it there, and he copies it. Now that's a very technical, advanced thing. Most people listening to this are like, what is he talking about? All I'm doing is like pretending like I'm migrating off ChatGPT and going to Claude, and then going to Grok, and then going to Gemini every day, every night to synchronize their memories. Okay. So hear what I just said. I use my AI to extract everything from one to move the other.
Yeah.
So you don't need to relearn it because you can just tell it to go grab it and migrate it. So if you built a bunch of GPTs on ChatGPT, you want to create a bunch of gems on Gemini, you can tell Gemini to open up ChatGPT and pull them over and copy them over. So
that's a great transition because I want to transition to this third level. We're talking about making over 10 million with AI, leveraging your brand.
And
leveraging
future,
your
man.
brain.
Yeah.
So what you just illustrated is a way that you are essentially documenting yourself. Do you find that, because I want to think about enterprise here. I think the skill gap that you're describing, which is mostly self-belief and just determination, just like, hey, dumbass, just like figure it out. That solves a lot of the poor people problems. The make your first 100K, hey, fix my business. It's trying to be somewhat profitable. But when we're talking about enterprise level, and a lot of the people that be watching this that are looking for something at the higher tier, how do you leverage AI and stay creative?
So nobody buys AI, they buy trust. And I can prove it. If I said, hey man, here's this new AI tool that's super magical and it'll reply to all your emails for you. And you're like, well, who built it? And I says, oh, I can't tell you that. Are you going to use it?
No. In fact, I actually I'm not going to say which ones, but I think depending on which company you talk about, ChatGPT, Grok.
Oh, this is what you've seen it recently. OpenAI had a flood of customers that lost trust and left. And Claude grew 275% in a month. Okay. They did $6 billion in February in revenue. Because of trust. Why is Apple? Because of trust. Why do other companies struggle? Because of trust. So nobody's out waking up saying, I need to buy AI. They want to solve a problem and they'll buy from the company that they trust. So when we talk about going from $1 million level 2, 100K to $1 million to level 3, which would be, $1 million to 10, the journey is brand. It's always been brand. It's because brand is how we create trust. And brand is association to other people that I trust, association to other technology that you build that I start to trust, association to stories that you tell that I trust, but it's association. The blue shirt is brand, it's association, it's Dan, right? The more value I create out in the world, like that's the whole point, is become somebody who's valuable, create value for other people before you ever ask for anything. So then when I come out with a book, and they're like, oh my gosh, he's done all this stuff and posted 2 videos on YouTube every week. And, it's crazy. I think team told me yesterday we did 220 million views last month on our content. Okay, dude, I grew up in a small town in Canada. Like that blows my mind.
Good job, Sam.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But it's trust. You know what I mean? It's if you show up consistently over a long period of time, you build trust. Why do companies decide to sell to Warren Buffett? And not somebody else? Is because they trust Warren, because he has a history of doing what he says over a long period of time. So to go from $1 million to 10, you gotta do all the things that create trust, and you gotta create brand. And that's where I think a lot of businesses get stuck in this like scorched earth. They find a thing that works, and these people, you see them, they come online and then where'd they go? Oh, new offer, boom. They went from drop shipping to crypto. No, my favorite one I saw recently was like fitness coaching. No, he was, I forget. It's just like all these things. It's like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Cause I get that there's things that might intrigue you, but like pick a lane and then become the top of the spear. Cause the person who's at tip of the spear from a brand trust point of view gets everybody else that's gained trust and brand in their category. That's what most people don't understand, the compound effect of brand. I believe if you have 1 million followers, you're sitting on $10 million of unactivated revenue potential every year because of your brand. If you're sitting on 10 million followers, you're sitting on 100 million of annualized equity potential value, unactivated though. That's the skill. The skill is, do you know how to activate it? But it requires the brand to create it. So if you're at 1 million in revenue, you want to get to 10, use the AI, ask it, what does a brand mean? Have it teach you, and then have it help you execute that strategy. A big one is relationships, right? Like think about it. We met 2.5 years ago, and then we hung out the last time I saw you in Miami. Performance over time. And I've been watching you, and I've watched how you operated. I've watched the decisions you made. I watched the business stuff you've done. We just talked about something big that you're working on. It's awesome. Like that's how brand is built, is through relationships, conversations that happen behind the scenes. Okay. The doors that nobody knows that were closed, that conversations were happening. And that's where the 1 goes to 10. People think it's a mechanical thing, a sales thing, a ad thing, a market thing, a vehicle thing, an AI thing. I think AI supports it, but at the end of the day, billion-dollar companies are built off of brand.
In the brand association, so, I mean, in some cases you can talk about consulting or info. Other cases you're talking about SaaS. And then in other categories, we've talked about small business things that are very brick and mortar and tactical. I think there's this distaste, and I would say there's like a scarcity that I feel where it's like, I don't think someone wants to buy something from me that they know is AI. How do I integrate it into my stuff that just makes it better versus just giving people just a bunch of dog shit?
Yeah. So, I mean, AI slop is real. Not that long ago, I had to kind of have like an intervention with my team because everybody started it was AI slop into each other. It was actually funny to watch. I was part of it, where Slack became like bots talking to bots. Because again, we have some of the most advanced technology and I empower my leaders with it. And we had to it's this new world, man. It's kind of crazy where when you can use it, should you use it? And should you take a little bit more effort to really make it look not so AI driven, right? So I think at the end of the day, even if you have AI supporting you, if you feel that way, just put yourself in the middle. It's called human in the loop. That's actually how most AI software is built. It comes up with an answer, human in the loop. It decides if it's good enough. If it is, it goes forward. If it isn't, it's feedback, and it comes up with a different iteration till it's good enough, it goes forward. So even if all you did was just use the AI, sat in the middle, took all the work products, review it, gave it feedback, tweaked it, sent it to the person, but then use that to make it better, that's better than not doing it.
It's so interesting you say that, because I mean, when I first paid you to consult me, my favorite thing about you, and my favorite thing from your book, was the 10-80-10 rule. And it sounds like what you're saying is now it's no longer the employee. That's not the 80%.
The 80 is the AI.
Yeah.
That's the AI agent.
Yeah.
In my world, it's the AI agent.
And that's how you can prevent slop, is that you are just now a quality control reviewer to say, this is genuine to me.
The 10-80-10 rule, essentially, just so for those listening, it's the 10% ideation. That's what we really like. We like to problem solve, right? Me and you are working on something. Let's talk about what's possible, and then let's get clarity on direction. Once we know that, it'd be really cool if other people took it and executed it. Now, it'd be great if they could take it right to the finish line. It would be what we want. But most time, we actually want to be involved in the creative process. So then the 80% is somebody else executing it. And today it is AI. And truthfully, for a lot of people, the AI, the genius level IQ cousin Marcus, can do better than you. But the cool part is you can come back at the end with something that was better than you, a $25,000 website that I don't know how to design or hand code, that is created for me in 12 minutes, to then give it the final touches. The footer, the polish, maybe some tweaks, the typography, whatever it is. And then I hit publish. And that is a beautiful place to get to that's available to everybody today.
Something that I hope people walk away with is that process, if you have yourself doing that, and then if you have your team doing that, the amount of unlock. You said that you pessimistically think that you generated capacity for 5 times more results.
I'd say 3 pessimistically, 5, and then definitely some. I mean, here's what I didn't expect that happened. Everybody in the teams built solutions that made their job obsolete. I did not expect that. I thought the human condition of self-preservation would kick in and they would try to build something different.
Yeah.
Every one of them built solutions that literally do their jobs.
And optimistically, as a business owner, you said that's awesome, because you were saying you're not like, I'm going to fire you now. It's like, oh, sweet.
More capacity.
What can I have you do?
I'm a, bro, you see my team here?
Yeah.
I just want to do cool stuff.
Yeah.
If you can have an AI back at the office, do that while we're here hanging out and traveling around the world.
Yeah.
And because again, hard for computers, easy for humans. Hard for computers, easy for humans is I don't want to hang out with a computer.
Yeah.
I want to hang out with a person and talk about life. And you know, on the way over here, we're singing songs and having fun, and I would rather do that. And the cool part is the revenue goes up with the capacity that they created. The innovation, the future proofing goes up. Again, my problem is the leaders that are pretending like it's not happening and think they got to replace their team, and they never even tried to upskill their team because they aren't keeping up to date.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I really appreciate you. I think this has unlocked some stuff for me. I hope it's unlocked for people. I hope this is the first podcast they've heard from you on that. And if it's not, then I hope it incites some action in them. So I've followed you. I respect you. There's so few people that I point to and say like, man, that guy really is it. Everything that he says he is, he's that guy. You're one of those people. So
I appreciate that, Grant. Can I share something real quick with people? Because like, I feel like I might have overwhelmed people. and I don't mean to. My background's software, and I really want to inspire people to do it.
Yeah.
So if it's okay,
please.
I have like, when I homeschooled my kids, I created a curriculum that I built for my team that is what I use to get my kids ready. Because people are like, well, what's the future for your kids? It's like, well, it's the same thing I did for my teams. I designed the AI implementation per department within a company. And then I looked at the principles and I said, hey, boys, like we're going to learn this. I have 2 boys. And that's what we did as we world schooled, right? So if anybody wants that, they can just message me, AI Grant on Instagram. They got to like follow me and then send me a direct message. And I'll send them that internal document. But I want them to look at that, even if they're just starting off or they work for somebody, not about like, how do I automate marketing? Because it's in there. But more about like, look at how I designed it. Because what you'll see is the principles that I think make it human and not AI slop, that if you understood how I created that and you use that in your work, it would actually make you the person who can't be replaced. And I just feel like sometimes I'd say too many tools and things and then people get overwhelmed. So I just want to give somebody actionable stuff. So Instagram, Dan Martell, find me. Send me a message.
In the description. I'm sure I'll put it in there.
Cool.
So thank you so much, Dan.
Appreciate it, Grant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.